What if the only witness to a crime couldn't speak, not because it's dead, but because it's been submerged for 70 years? Imagine a serene lake, its surface like glass. Now imagine that tranquility broken by a single impossible object, a church steeple, piercing the water's surface. This is the enduring image of Serenity Lake, and beneath its waters rests the ghost town of Havenwood. But the real mystery here isn't just about a drowned town. It's a potential cold case. In the final chaotic days before the flood that wiped Havenwood off the map, the Miller family, David, Sarah, and their young daughter, Emily, simply vanished. The official story is a mere bureaucratic footnote. They were marked as departed during the forced exodus, presumably having moved away early. But a time-damaged fragment of a sheriff's log paints a much darker picture. An entry notes a domestic disturbance call to the Miller residence. The legible words are dispute, property, and pastor. This pastor was Reverend Alistair Finch, a charismatic yet severe man who preached against the flood with a passion that bordered on desperation. This entry was never followed up on. Suddenly, the submerged church transforms from a tragic monument into a potential crime scene, its secrets sealed by millions of tons of water. And though the structure of wood and stone cannot speak, some say it tries. For decades, the church has communicated its story through a series of unexplained events, building a puzzle of mystery. Boaters and fishermen report hearing the sound of a bell tolling on nights of thick fog, a ghostly call echoing from the depths. Beyond the sinister acoustics, there are the visual phenomena. Locals and visitors have documented strange lights glowing beneath the surface, orbs of blue and green light that pulse and move in ways that defy easy explanation, concentrated precisely over the sunken church. But it's the divers who provide the most visceral accounts. Descending into the darkness, the total silence broken only by their own breathing, many describe an oppressive feeling of sadness and dread. A chill that doesn't come from the water, but from the dark windows of the sanctuary. A disorienting sense of being watched, accompanied by inexplicable equipment failures, with compasses spinning erratically. These phenomena form the basis for the first major theory, the supernatural. In this view, the death of Havenwood was an event so traumatic it wounded the place itself, tethering souls to their lost home. The church, as the spiritual heart of the community, became a beacon for this residual energy. The Miller family's disappearance fits neatly into this narrative. Perhaps they met a tragic end during the chaos, and their spirits, unable to move on, are now the site's most prominent guardians. The bells would be their attempt to communicate, the lights, a reflection of their trapped souls. Perhaps little Emily's light still shining through the stained glass windows. The sense of dread felt by divers would be the psychic echo of their final fear and despair, an impression left on the very structure of the church. But there is a second theory, one that shifts from the supernatural to the sinister, framing the story as a true crime mystery. This approach posits that every mysterious phenomenon has a logical explanation, and that together, these explanations clear the board so we can see the crime hidden underneath. Water, for example, is an excellent conductor of sound. Industrial or train noises from miles away could travel through the lake and be distorted by the church's structure, mimicking the tolling of a bell. The ghostly lights? 70 years of decaying organic matter in the flooded valley would release methane gas, which can create phosphorescent glows known as willow, the wisps. And the divers' experiences? Physiology can explain a great deal. The extreme cold and pressure can induce nitrogen narcosis, a state that causes anxiety and hallucinations. The spinning compasses? Large iron ore deposits in the bedrock beneath the lake, a natural magnetic anomaly, could easily interfere with the instruments. With the ghostly evidence set aside, the focus shifts back to the sheriff's log. The impending destruction of Havenwood provided the perfect cover. With law enforcement distracted and records in disarray, it was the ideal environment to make an entire family disappear. The dispute with Reverend Finch becomes the central clue. Perhaps the conflict escalated tragically. The pastor, seeing his world about to be washed away and unhinged by the stress, could have had a hand in their deaths. Hiding the evidence would have been terrifyingly simple. With the waters scheduled to rise within days, a killer would only need to hide the bodies somewhere, perhaps in the basement of the church itself. The lake would do the rest. This theory turns the tales of Serenity Lake into something far more chilling, because its monster isn't a ghost, but a human being. The truth, however, is buried under 70 years of history and over 100 feet of murky water. The church's structure is decaying, making forensic exploration extremely dangerous and expensive. The paper trail has long since gone cold. We are left with an undeniable set of facts. A town was destroyed, a family vanished without a trace, and for decades, people have reported chilling events surrounding its one silent witness. In the end, Havenwood's sunken church has become a symbol. It is a monument to a lost community and a tomb for its secrets. Whether it houses ghosts, the evidence of a crime, or is simply a decaying building, it serves as a potent reminder that the past is never truly gone. It rests just below the surface, waiting for the right conditions to make its presence known. Looking at the clues, which scenario is more likely? A crime covered up by the flood, or a tragic echo of lost souls? Defend your theory in the comments. If you found this investigation compelling, please like this video and subscribe for more dives into the world's deepest mysteries. The truth may be submerged, but the search for it never ends.